Hello everyone, this is Mike at Play Favorites. We're a friendly neighborhood toy store located in beautiful Front Royal, Virginia. And today I am here to tell you all about Mission Xcode, a game in which you have 3 minutes to save the world. Mission Xcode is a cooperative, real-time game. Cooperative means that everyone plays together on the same team. You either win together or you lose together. Real time means that you don't take turns. Everyone is playing at the same time. And we're using this timer, which holds real time inside of it. And it counts down to 3 minutes. And if you haven't saved the world in 3 minutes, then you lose. Okay, here's what you get in the box. In this big box, you are going to get 3 smaller boxes. Box number 1 contains base level missions 1 to 4. Box number 2 contains the extreme missions with cards that you will add in and mix with base level 1 to 4 for missions 5 to 7. Box number 3 contains the ultimate missions. Those are levels 8 through 10. You will be combining these decks into different configurations in order to play the harder and harder levels of Mission Xcode. I'm just going to tell you how to play the basic missions of the game. Once you know this, you'll be able to figure the rest out for yourself pretty easily. Okay, we have right over here a great big board with the numbers 1 through 9 on it. You are also going to have a star and a hashtag. The goal of each round, each game of Mission Xcode, is to cover up each of these spaces as a team. At the beginning of each round, you're going to deal 3 cards to each player. There are 3 different types of cards in the base version of the game. You've got your timer cards, which you can collect to give yourself more time than the 3 minutes in the timer that you start with. You've got your wild cards containing X's on them, and you have your number cards as well. Howdy folks, I'll be right with you. Now, at the start of each round, you're going to give each player 3 of these cards face down. Throughout the game, you are allowed to tell people, your fellow players, what you have in your hand, but you are not allowed to show your fellow players what you have in your hand. Depending on how many people you're playing Mission Xcode with, and the game can handle between 3 and 8 players, you are limited to a specific number of cards that you can have. So if you're playing with 3 people, each player can have 9 cards. If you're playing with 4 players, each player can only hold 8 cards, and you are penalized if you ever realize, hey, I've got 12 cards in my hand. You have to discard all of your cards. Everyone plays at the same time. There are a few things that you can do while you're playing. You can keep on drawing cards, blip, 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 just like that, one at a time, please. You can also trade cards with your fellow players. Now, you will notice that this card over here has arrows pointing in one direction. That would be to the left. This card has arrows pointing to the right. So yellow arrows point to the left, blue arrows point to the right. If you ever want to trade this card, you can only trade it with the player to your left. In order to do that, you put the card between you and yourself and the player to your left. The player to your left, if they have a card with blue arrows on it that shows that they can pass it to the player to their right, they'll put that card down next to the card that you put down over there. You each pick up the cards that you decided to trade with each other and continue playing. So you're always allowed to trade with the player to your left and the player to your right, so long as the card that you are trading with them points in each player's respective direction. What this means is, let's say you're playing with 5 people and you want to get a card to the player all the way across the table. You've all got to strategize on which cards you're going to trade with one another in order to make that happen. Now, why are we passing these cards back and forth between one another? What's the benefit of that? Well, if a player ever holds in their hand 3 identical cards, like these 3 number 1 cards, they can put them down on the matching number on the game board, and you are that much closer to winning the round, because once again, the goal is to cover all of the spaces on the board. Now, you can at any time substitute 1 or 2 of the 3 cards in a set with one of these wild cards. And I showed you earlier those timer cards, which I'm looking for now. Anytime someone plays 3 timer cards into the discard pile, you can flip over that timer. What that means is that just because you can play 3 timer cards, you might want to wait until that timer really starts running down so you can get the most out of those cards as you play them. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on in this game. It's not just the strategy of what to do, it's also the when to do it. And that's Mission Xcode. You're frantically passing cards and drawing cards between the players, drawing cards from the pile to give to yourself while trying to keep the timer from running out and covering the board. You cover the board, you win the round. If you keep on winning the same round over and over again, then you move on to the next level, keep going, see if you can defeat or beat all 10 levels of Mission Xcode. And just because you beat all 10, the game can be played over and over infinitely. The rounds are always going to be different. It's not like some games where you've solved it. You don't really solve this game. Sometimes you'll do great, and sometimes the game is going to beat you pretty handily. Mission Xcode, it's a whole lot of fun. I love that it's cooperative with everyone playing on the same team, and it's great that you don't have to wait for your turn. It's also pretty cool that a single round only takes about 5 to 8 minutes. So you can play one round if you've just got a few minutes, or you can play multiple rounds if you've got plenty of time. This is Mike at Play Favorites. Come check this game out. Have a wonderful day. Toodles.